Okay, so before we get started, I'm going to give you just a little intro for those of you that weren't in the class yesterday. It's going to be pretty similar to what we did yesterday, but a little bit different. So what we're focused on this week is just really kind of basic stuff, looking at a flow class with the mindset of functional mobility warm-up. So with a traditional flow class, a lot of times what they actually start with is the sun salutation. And for people who are used to doing yoga, that's probably pretty appropriate. For me personally, even though I've done yoga for many, many years, I feel like I require just a little bit of a warm-up through some of my joints before I actually do the big movements of sun salutation. So today's class will be fairly straightforward in terms of the sequencing. It's going to be variations of a sun salutation, both sun salutation A and B. And before we head into that, we'll just do a brief functional mobility warm-up. Does anybody have any questions before we start? And you can hear me okay, right? Okay, good. So let's go ahead and start on our backs one more time, just as we did yesterday, to give ourselves a few moments just to settle in and acknowledge any current time sensations with body and breathing. Giving ourselves some space to communicate with our own inner landscape. Really devoting this time for you. You've already made time in your day to do this practice. So give yourself your full attention, if possible. I know sometimes that can be hard with other living creatures and humans inside your house. Same's true for me. There are times where the other people that live here might pass through the frame. You might see some animals. Might pass through the frame. Oopsie. Sorry. I was trying to read the comments in the group and I accidentally messed up our audio. My bad. Notice how your breath is. Feel the points of contact between you and your mat. Move if you want to. Be still if that's better for you. Maybe asking yourself why you're here. What is it that you're after? It doesn't have to be a big grand plan, right? It could just be something super simple. Start to mobilize through your fingers, your wrists, your toes, feet, and ankles. Bend your knees, set your feet on your mat about as wide as your hips. And just rock your head side to side. Go slow and small. And then let's also do the same thing with the legs. Maybe we add in some little windshield wipers. Take your feet a little wider so that you can really get into that thigh rotation. And then come back to the center and stretch your legs up vertical. And then reach your arms up vertical as if you were doing plank with your hands and as if your feet were standing on the ceiling. Now just bend your knees. Try to keep your thighs vertical so it feels like reverse tabletop. Notice if your low back is trying to curl off of the ground, and try to use a little bit of 360 core support to stay contained in your neutral curves. That doesn't mean you have to overly flatten your back either. Just find that middle ground. Reach your right arm back behind you overhead as you extend your left leg forward, so opposites. And then bring it back to that reverse tabletop. Let's keep going with that. Alternating which limb is moving. And if you feel that taking your leg too low to the ground makes your back lift off, then you can just make that movement smaller and not go so low. Make it more on a diagonal line. Let's do one more on each side. How's your breathing? Bring your hands to the front of your shins. Allow your low back to lengthen into your mat now. Lift your head and shoulders off the ground and try to bring your nose pretty close to your knees as you come into a little cannonball tuck. Small package. And then drive your feet back down to the ground. Rest your head and shoulders down. Tuck your tail up between your thighs. Lengthen your lumbar into the floor again, and slowly peel your spine off of the floor, one bone at a time for a low bridge. We're balancing that effort now between glutes, inner thighs, rooting down through the feet, and also trying to find that dragging sensation as if you could pull your heels towards your fingertips. That'll get your hamstrings involved. Let's try to squeeze just the right glutes. You might feel the left side of your pelvis tip a little lower. And then squeeze the left glutes, relax the right. Your pelvis might tip a little bit sideways. Let's go back and forth like that. Right and left. A little bit of a dance through the pelvis. Almost as if you could, maybe you could visualize a marble rolling back and forth between your front pelvis points. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come down. Be patient. You can rock your way up or just roll onto your side. Let's go tabletop. Show just a little bit more love to the shoulders, the wrists, and the ankles and the feet before we head into our first flow. Tuck your toes under. Stretch your hips back towards your heels, kind of like a child's pose, but not all the way. With your right arm, reach it forward and a little bit out to the side. Let's go thumb side of the hand up. And then reach your arm out to the side. Start to spiral your arm bone so that when you reach backwards, your palm faces the sky. Is your chest opening? If so, try to keep it square. And sweep your arm back out to the side and back to your starting position. We're going to do one more like that. So go slow, make it muscular, intentional. I think I'm already sweating. It's going to be a sweaty class, I think. And then switch sides. Brace with your right hand. If having your toes tucked is starting to get a little bit uncomfortable, just untuck them, but stay in the same position pretty much. Left arm, reach it forward and out a little bit diagonally. Turn your bicep down and rotate that left arm all the way internally as you take your arm behind you for extension. And come back to the front. Just the shoulder rotating and reaching here. Try to keep the rest of your body nice and stable and still. Responsive breathing. Finding that lateral spread of the ribs when you inhale. And then 2 hands to the floor, untuck your toes, rock forward, press onto the tops of your feet. Walk your hands in a little closer to your knees so you have a kind of a shorter tabletop position. Point your toes backwards and dome your back like the cat. And if you wanted to here, you could also lift your knees and shins off the ground into a floating cat pose. Breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set your knees down, sit back on your heels, interlace your fingers. That music might be just a little loud. I'm going to turn it down. Okay, so in this upright position, interlaced hands, you're just going to rock forward and back first with your wrists. Pinky side of the hand dropping down, and then the thumb side of the hand coming towards you. And then we'll go side to side with that action. And then just a big circle all the way around. Release that. Reach your arms out in front of you. And you're just going to flick the fingers like you're trying to get water off of your hands. Just ran out of paper towels. You're just trying to dry your hands off. The faster you go, the fiery your forearms might get. That's good. Those forearm muscles are what support your wrists in positions like plank. So keep flicking for 10, 9. Try not to hold your breath for 5. Nice. Okay, hopefully sufficient heat in the forearms. You can give yourself a little rub down, a little shake out, and then we're going to go right up to our downward facing dog. Find the foundational stance with your arms that works for your shoulders. Some of us can be shoulder width, some of us need to be a little wider. If you ever need help identifying what might be a good stance for you, I can work with you on that. You just have to let me know. So once you find your down dog shape, explore it. Notice different areas of your body. Ankles, calves, hamstrings, pelvis, spine, shoulders, upper arm bones, biceps trying to roll forward, and then a nice spread with your hands, creating a lot of surface space to distribute the load. Lift your heels, walk yourself to the front of your mat. Set your feet maybe just a little wider to allow for some space here. And then bend your elbows and hold your own arm bones so that your head hangs in the arm frame. Bend your right knee a little bit. Spin your chest open to the left and peek through that frame in your arms. Get a little longer from your left hip crease to your left elbow, all the way through the armpit and rib cage. And let's go the other way. So think just a slight rotation in that upper T-spine as your left ribs get closer to your left thigh. Your right ribs get a little stretch. Back to the center. Release your arms. Heel toe your feet in to about hip wide. Come up to a strong and intentional halfway lift. Lengthen your spine forward. Having a little bit of trouble with this shirt. Hopefully that doesn't rub on my mic. Hands can come to the shins. Press down through your feet and at the same time find the sense of your heels dragging backwards again, kind of like you did in that bridge pose. Bring your hands to your hips. Pull your arms a little closer together behind you and notice if that changes your rib cage. Keep those low ribs tucked in. Stand up strong from the backside. Take your arms out to a T. Side bend to the right as you exhale. Think of it more like a crunch for this right side. Back to the center, and then we go left. Let's go overhead with the arms to a wide V. And as you exhale, make a pull-up shape with your arms. Twice more like that with a straight spine. And then keep that cactus arm position after your third one. And we're gonna rotate. So firm up your legs and glutes and just try to spiral the upper trunk to the right or the left, both ways. Notice that your hips might kind of want to go along for the ride, but you're almost trying to pull them the opposite way. Inhale, take a big reach overhead next time. Exhale, hinge through your hips and fold one more time. Step your left leg back. I'm just coming into a low runner's lunge for a little exploration. This might be something for your front leg, foot or ankle, back leg, foot or ankle. Could be something for your shoulders or upper back, or any combination of those things. Step forward with your left foot and back with your right. Same thing on the other side. Just some time for you to move around. As you move around, we're just paying attention. And then step back to your downward dog. Pull yourself forward to the plank. Press your hands into the ground, especially rooting through that index knuckle and thumb knuckle, but still sensing a connection too on that outer pinky knuckle. Maintain the strong plank line that you have right now. Option to lower your knees and pull yourself to the floor. Think of it like a pull-up, but you're pulling down. Untuck toes, squeeze your legs together. Reach your arms behind you. Lift your arms first. Tuck your tail slightly. Now try to lift your chest off the ground. Breathe out through your sides. Elbows bend, light touch with the hands, little help, cobra. All the way down. Tuck your toes, press back, table or plank. Downward dog. I'm just trying to make some adjustments. I'm having some trouble with my wardrobe. So if you hear me fidgeting, that's why. Drop me a comment if it gets too hard to hear me. Lift your heels, tiptoe or hop your feet forward, top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart. Arms by your sides like Tadasana. Inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, dive down. Come up halfway and lengthen out as you inhale. Strong back body, exhale, fold. Plant your palms, step back to a plank this time. We're gonna keep the arms in the chest in plank. Send your heels to the left and your toes to the right. So your pelvis might turn a little bit, but let's see if we can keep the chest in that plank position. Come back to the natural plank, heels driving straight back. Pull with your arms as if you're trying to drag your wrists to your toes. Pivot your heels right, toes left. Same idea as the last round. Back to plank and then downward dog. Get a little longer in your spine stretch. Reach your hips away from your fingertips. Lift your heels. Tiptoe, step or hop your feet forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse the swan dive, stand up. Exhale your hands to your heart, reset your Tadasana. We're gonna do side bends and twists one more time. So take this at your own pace. In the standing mountain pose, Take a lateral bend on each side and a twist on each side. Establish a rhythm with your own breathing. When you finish that standing sequence with your Tadasana, you can take it through whatever flow version that you like. And we'll meet back in downward dog. Hip circles in downward dog. Rest if you need to. You can always do this in a tabletop position. Right leg up, bend knee, take your seat. Slowly rotate your right thigh bone around the hip capsule as you keep your pelvis facing neutral. Let's just do 2 each way. And then step your right foot down, same thing on the other side. How still can you be in the rest of your body and focus that mobility in the left hip? Make it muscular, intentional. From downward dog then, we'll come back to the front of our space. Set your feet for chair pose. Consciously pull your pelvis down towards your heels and reach your arms forward or upward. See if you can still move your pelvis here between a tuck and a tilt. And then move your upper body like you're doing cat-cow. Notice those two extremes and then find what feels like you're neutral. Settle in. Maybe we go a little deeper into the chair. Inhale, rise all the way to stand. Exhale, cactus your arms, curl back. Make a tiny back bend up top. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, back to the chair, this time arms forward. Row your right arm back like you're pulling back on a bowstring, and then turn your chest open to the right. Face forward. Same thing with the left. Pull back and row. This time we're twisting. Row to the right and open upper body to the right. Right arm reaches back for 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale back to the center. Row with the left. Notice that your chair doesn't have to be so low here, especially if you really want to focus on rotating that upper body. So if it feels too challenging to sit low, just come up a little bit. Let's go back overhead. Stand up, straighten your legs. On your exhale, pull down, curl back. Inhale, reach it high. Exhale, forward fold. Step back with your left leg, bring your left knee to the ground. Arrange your left knee under your hips so your thigh is vertical. Rise your spine. Keep your left arm reaching nice and tall. Let your right arm land by your side and take a side bend over to your right. Arms overhead, come back straight up. Split your arms, left arm forward, right arm back, twist it. Open to the right, breathe. Come back to the front and you're taking either down dog, child's pose, or some version of vinyasa. That could be side planks, could be sphinx, some version of strength building here. Two to 3 breaths in your down dog. And then you're going to walk or hop back to the front of your space. Come back to the chair. In your chair this time, let's play around with lifting the heels. Think of firming your inner ankles together and staying connected through both the pinky toe knuckle and that big toe knuckle. Stay up with your heels if possible. Straighten your legs, stand up with your arms reaching overhead. Squeeze your tush, inner thighs hug. Lower your heels, inhale here. Exhale, hinge and fold. Come up halfway as you inhale. Exhale, fold it through and step your right leg back, right knee under. Underneath your hip, rise into that 90-90 lunge. Keep your right arm lengthened. Left arm reaches low, side stretch. Back to the top. Split your arms, right arm forward, chest open to the left. Trying to tuck the pelvis under slightly to maximize the right hip opening. Inhale, forward facing. Exhale, take your version of a vinyasa. Or just step back. Stretch your right leg into the air and lift your left heel as high as it'll go. Shift forward, bring your nose and your knee closer together. Dome your back like a cat, push the floor away, step forward. Maybe closer towards your right thumb so you have a broader stance from side to side. Rise to a crescent lunge. Bend your back knee, lower your lunge closer to the floor. Back to the crescent lunge, straighten your back leg. One more time, just like that. From your crescent, hinge your body forward, take your arms out to a T. Now you're going to try to twist open with your upper body to the right. Without going all the way into a runner's twist, it's like halfway there. Great. Come back to the center. Hands to the floor. Step back, down dog. Left leg, lift it. Right heel also pulls away from the floor. Shift and tuck. Coil in from the front side. Step forward. Set your stance strong. Come up to high crescent lunge. Notice here that you might be tipping the pelvis forward. That's fine. You're in a little bit of a back bend. That's also fine. But let's do the other thing. Bend your back knee. Neutralize your pelvis and lower your lunge towards the floor. Then straighten the back leg. One more time like that. Create some space in your neck here. That might mean bringing your arms wider. Back leg straight, make the hinge, arms to the T, out east and west. Find the leg scissors, and then rotate your upper body left. Left ribs rolling back, trying to roll your right ribs underneath you more. Back to the center, and then hands down. Step back to the plank. Heels left, toes right, side plank. Pivot back to regular plank. Other side, heels left. Sorry, heels right, toes left. Facing the left, breathe. Back to a plank. Bring your left arm forward more, so it's way in front of your shoulder. Lower to your right forearm. Lower to your left forearm. Forearm plank. Stretch your right arm straight out in front of you more. Push back to high plank. Pull yourself halfway down or all the way down. A cobra or an up dog. Downward facing dog is our next stop. Let's take just a little bit of a rest. Child's or kneeling. Okay. How's everybody doing? You all right? Excellent, good. Thanks for that, Nikki. Okay, let's add in some more layers. Downward facing dog. Stretch your right leg up. Lift your left heel up. Find that plank tuck, this time bringing your right elbow outside, the right knee outside the right elbow, as high as you can get it. Think up into the armpit. Dome your back like a cat, make your arms as straight as you can, and then take your right leg out for that down dog split. Really reach through your heel, open up the front of your hip. Step forward this time, warrior one. Maybe a slightly shorter and wider stance compared to crescent. Cactus your arms. Even though our pelvis here is probably slightly tipping forward, let's bring some intention of the tuck under. Physically, that's not going to happen. But what it's going to do is going to bring some glute engagement support to your pelvis and therefore your spine. With your cactus arms, rotate just your upper trunk to the right a little bit. Forward facing with arms and chest. Arms go back. Lift your left heel. Float or fly your left leg back for a warrior three variation. Try to find a tabletop position in your back and in your pelvis. Level to the horizon, your arms can be doing anything. Bend your right knee, step back with a long step, landing on your left big toe first, warrior two. Reorganize your foundation if necessary. Lift your right heel off the ground. Lower your right heel, straighten your right leg. Lift the ball of your right foot so that only your right heel is on the ground. Good, we're going to do that one more time. Warrior two with a heel raise. And a straight leg warrior two with the ball of the foot up. Regular warrior two. Arms are going to stay out like a T, but now we're going to try to rotate that upper body again towards your front leg side. As you draw your left hip back, spiral your ribs open to the right. Regular warrior two, unwind. Reverse your warrior. Take your flow or step back to a down dog. Keeping in mind that your body and your brain like variation, so don't be afraid to change it up a little bit. From downward facing dog, stretch your left leg up, lift your right heel a little higher to make some space, and then shift towards that coiled plank, left knee outside that left upper arm as high as you can get it. Think hip flexors. Low core, breathe. Left leg, kick it up. Step forward and build your foundational stance for Virabhadrasana 1. And when that feels right, come on up. Cactus your arms. The body position might feel a little bit more like a back bend, but our intention, our effort, is to tuck under slightly. Cactus arms, upper body are going to rotate left here. Keep bending into your left knee. Straighten your back leg. Reverse out of the twist. Lean forward, arms fly back. Lift your back heel. Commit to your warrior three. Remembering that that base leg could be a little bit bent or all the way straight. Maybe try it both ways. See how it goes. Is the back still presenting natural spine curves, or have we done a back bend or too much of a cat pose? And we find that middle ground again. Warrior two. Find that slow transition back and then readjust your stance. Arms like strong swords. Elevate left heel without changing the leg position too much. Heel down, straight leg, toes lift. Pull towards your shin. One more, just like that. Warrior two. Legs and hips stay the same. Upper trunk spirals open to that left leg side. Keep drawing your right hip back. Beautiful. Open it up long side of the mat. Reverse your warrior. Hands down. Back to a plank. We're going to try our hollow plank today. So depending on the length of your mat, this might be easier or harder. Scoot your feet back a little bit towards the back of your mat, and then walk your arms forward to create a bridge-like shape, an inverted bridge of your body. Create a hollowing effect from that front spine. Almost like you're trying to do a little bit of a cat pose. Fire the glutes, quads. Press your toes down into the ground. Push with your arms for 5, 4, 3, 2. Walk your hands back in. Plank. Maybe the knees need to come down at some point. Optional chaturanga. Up dog cobra. Right leg, lift it high. Step forward. High crescent lunge. Any position of the arms is fine with me. What makes the most sense for you? Let's take the arms back behind us. Find a warrior 3 this time, focusing on staying pretty bent in that right leg. Drive down through your heel, try to get a little lighter in the toes, but they don't have to lift. Now arms to the T. Can you keep the low body where it is and spin your chest more open to the right for 5, 4, 3, 2. Open it up, warrior 2. Woofda. Reverse triangle. Long spine on both sides. Rebend it for side angle pose. Anything goes here. I'm not going to give you a lot of instructions, just kind of sort it out. As you rise up, pivot open to the long side of your mat and take a side lunge with the left leg. You could stay up high, you can get a little low. Left heel could lift if that helps you. For those of you that are getting a little deeper into the side lunge, can you think about pulling the top of your foot up towards your shin? And at the same time pushing your heel into the ground as if you could stand up at any moment. Push the floor away. Rise back up to that wide leg stance. Warrior 2, front side. Reverse warrior. Any exit. Back to the down dog eventually. Even more traction in the spine now. Hips away from the fingertips. Finding more decompression throughout your spine column. And then step your left foot forward, however you want to do that on this round. Crescent. Arms go back, hinge forward slightly. Look on a diagonal line, and then sweep your arms out to the sides, straight out from your shoulders. Warrior 3. Keep that arm position, pelvis level as you can. Start to spiral your upper body only to the left. Keep a little bit more bend in that left knee, almost forgot to say that. Reach through your right heel or toes, doesn't matter. One more breath. Now warrior 2. Reverse triangle. Side angle. Think of rolling your right shoulder back a little bit. Also, Keeping that left shoulder down away from your ear. Lots of space in your neck. Strong legs will bring you out of side angle, open and pivot to the long side. Skandasana side lunge. Your way. Reverse the side lunge. Wide leg stance to warrior two on the left leg. Reverse it. Hands down, plank. Push down more through your left toes. Raise your right leg straight behind you and a little higher than your hip. Notice if your back arched into a back bend. If so, lower your leg a little bit until you can maintain natural curves. Push into the right toes now. Squeeze the left glutes. Think of your hamstrings lifting as well. Straight leg lift behind you in plank. Downward dog. Step your feet wide. Walk your hands a few hand prints towards your feet so you have a short, wide down dog. Left hand towards the middle of your mat from side to side. Right hand's gonna reach around towards that left leg somewhere as you rotate upper body to the left. Other side. Back to a regular downward facing dog. Normally as we move through from down dog to plank, it's more of a hinge. We just kind of lower the hips and bring the sternum forward. On this version, I want you to think about moving your spine more like a wave in articulation. So I'll start to tuck the tailbone under, flexing in the low back a little bit. Thinking cat pose, traveling up your spine as you shift forward to plank. Try not to crowd your neck here, so keep those shoulders kind of tucking down as you find the plank, and then level your spine out. Take away that cat arch, just normal body position in plank. Now let's drop the chin and try to send that wave of flexion down the spine. Starting at the top now, creating cat pose first in your upper back. As you send your hips back, you can try to create more spine flexion through the lumbar, and then find your natural down dog stance. Lower the knees down to tabletop. Left knee and left hand about down the center of your mat. And then you're going to kick your left toes off behind you and open up into a kneeling side plank. With the right arm reaching up. So this is one option. You can stay just like this. You can step the left foot through towards the long side of your mat and come onto the outer edge of that left foot. Or you can hover, float the left leg out in front of you to work on adductor strength. Any version of side plank here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your left knee down underneath you. Keep your legs like this. Come up with your spine. Arms to the T. Side bend over your right leg. Tuck your left tush under more to open up the front left hip crease. And just bring your hands to your hips. Stay facing the long side of your mat. Bring your knees back underneath you and just sit back to kneeling. If this bothers your knees, you don't have to go so low, or you can sit on something. Eyes can close. then let's find our tabletop. We're gonna stay in the right, on the right side for that kneeling side plank to begin. Right hand, right knee, maybe about in the same line, more or less. Right wrist can land ahead of the shoulder slightly. This is it, or any other add-ons. Maybe that right leg kicks through, staying on the floor, or potentially hovering, lifting, being strong in that left leg as well for 5, 4, 3. This is it. Send your right knee back under your hip. Rise your spine. Open up the right hip crease by firing the glute, and then you've got that side stretch left. Come back to neutral position. Bring your knees back underneath you. This time, all we're going to do is stay facing the long side of our mat and stand up. Wide leg stance. Toes out, heels in, like we're going to do plie. And then plie. Goddess. You can think of this not just as work in a squat, but also as a little bit of tensional stretch for your inner thighs as you try to pull your legs outward away from each other. And then figure out something to do with either your spine or your shoulders. Some of you are already kind of doing that, like some side bending, some rocking with the legs is cool. Explore variation here. Make it yours. Couple more breaths. Push the floor away, bring your legs straighter. Pivot your right toes towards the short end of your mat, and then also rotate so that your back foot turns in slightly. Your heel might be reaching towards that back left corner of your mat. Triangle stance, and like we've been doing, we're going to get the pelvis moving first with that lateral tilt. Deepen your right hip crease, pour the right side pelvis towards your right thigh, reach with your spine sideways first. Find your triangle pose, land that hand anywhere. Keep the load light. Using the opposite side left hip glutes will help with that. That's kind of controlling our relationship to gravity here. Can you lift your arches a little bit without lifting your toes? You can bend your right leg to come back up. I quite like that. And then adjust your stride to make that triangle stance with the other leg. Pelvic tilts, playing with that. Once you get that pelvis tilting, reach left side spine, then tick-tock your arms to about 6 and 12. Support the side bending with the right glutes. Lots of core here. And not just in the front, mostly on the sides and in the posterior chain. Rebend your left leg to come up. Heel toe, or excuse me, turn to the long side, then heel toe your feet in, just so you can come to Tadasana and stand up nice and tall. Close your eyes. As we get ready to transition to some floor poses, I'll leave it up to you to decide how you get to the floor. So you could go through a traditional vinyasa. I'm going to try to cross my ankles and sit. You could also just get onto your knees and kneel. And then I'm going to let you pick one seated pose. Could be a twist, could be a forward fold, could be a seated back bend like a reverse table or a reverse plank. So I've given you lots of options, but there are so many more that you could do. Given what we've done so far, what do you feel like would be a good complement? for you. And then you can come down whenever you've had enough of that and do one bridge, a figure 4 in that reclined position, or some spine twists. Options on the menu aren't the only choices. You can also customize it and order something unique for what you need. Those of you that are still seated, go ahead and make your way down to the floor. And if you're doing a pose on your back right now that has 2 sides, we'll do the second side now. Sort out any last movements that are appealing to you this morning. If you feel like you're already ready to take a rest, organize that. If you would rather sit in meditation, lay on your stomach, or stand up on your 2 feet, it's all good. Notice how your breathing is. Might be still slightly elevated as far as that rhythm. So we'll just consciously draw it out more. Mostly that exhale cycle. Allow it to soothe you. Take what you need on the inhale and be patient with your exhale. Bring your attention to the jaw, mouth, tongue. Perhaps creating some intentional tension there for just a moment. And then trying to free that up with some softness. observe the length and the depth of your breath and drop into the pause after your exhale. As you push all your air out, see if you can just suspend your breath for a split second or two before receiving a new breath. Can you let the shoulders be natural and effortless at the bottom of your exhale? And feel into spine sensation, legs, feet, hands and arms. Creating a connection there with your mind first, and then some sort of physical connection, whether that's just maybe pressing thumb to fingers one at a time, or rolling around with the wrists and ankles, exploring some movement through your pelvis and thighs, a stretch, a tuck, a twist. What's your body calling for? If you'd like a little time on your side, you can organize that now. And when you feel ready, bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. Letting your posture be fairly natural without forcing any certain position around the shoulders or the spine. Just see what's there. If you are an intention setter and you would like to craft a positive statement for now, an I am statement, now's a good time for that. Take an inhale and reach your arms for the sky. Exhale, bring your hands together right in front of your heart. Take a little bow for you. This connection that you've established today with yourself, learning about your body, learning about your thoughts, your emotions, being a student, not just of yoga, but of you. That's where it's at. Thanks so much for coming today. I'm going to unmute my headphones so that we can have a little dialogue. If you want to hang out for that, that's great. Let's see. Disconnect these babies. Volume. Good. Okay, so you can unmute yourselves at any time. If you have to run, I understand. Otherwise, we usually chat for just a minute after class.
Okay, I'm going to run real quick, but I had one question for you. I'm completely off this topic of yoga, but I was thinking of maybe setting up a get-together for our YTT group.
Yes.
Maybe?
Yes. I can set it up for you.
Okay, I'll put a text out on our group text today and see, who's interested and when would a good time be.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would love to join you with that. So since I have an account, I could just set it up. So you don't have to go through the effort of creating an account, but you could get a free account too. That would work, but it's up to you. But I'd be happy to do it.
I'll put out a text and see when people are interested.
All right. I can't wait.
I gotta run. Bye,
Thanks,
Sarah.
Mickey. Hey, Dorothy. Are you waving that because you have to sign off?
I was saying goodbye to her.
Oh, okay. Hannah, what's up, girl? So good to see you. Tell everybody where you're practicing from. Tell everybody where you're practicing from.
Tel Aviv.
Right on.
So that's why it's night time for us already.
Yeah.
And the end of our weekend, actually. We start work again tomorrow.
What time is it there?
9.
9 p.m.? So how are you? How are things?
It's Sunday through Thursday here.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Which your Friday, Saturday classes is like perfect.
Oh, good. Good, good.
I broke my toe.
Ah! Ouch.
So I signed up for your classes and then I went and broke my toe.
Great. Oh, hopefully you're able to still do some of it.
Yeah, I'm just doing most of the balance is rough. I
Yeah.
couldn't do any of that on my right foot.
Yeah. Oh, that's a bummer.
How's it in Arizona? Is everyone else in Arizona?
Yeah, mostly this group here, but I have some people that come from Nebraska too. They weren't here today. Some of them were in the Facebook group, I think, perhaps. But yeah, mostly local, a handful in Nebraska, which is where I used to teach. So,
Where? Langston?
what's that?
I didn't know you were from Nebraska at one point.
Yeah, I actually am from the Iowa, South Dakota area, but then I went to college in Nebraska and lived there for 25 years.
Wow.
That's where I moved here from.
It's a big change.
Yeah, it's hard to believe I lived there for 25 years when I'm only 30. So.
That's right.
Not 29, Sarah?
29 forever. Lori and Matthew, thanks for coming today. It's good to see you too. Have a good one.
I told people about your Facebook thing this afternoon.
Good. Yes. Excellent. Thank you.
Let's see who else shows up. But
Yeah, that'd be great. I hope it works out for everybody.
Is it gonna be shorter? It's an hour. How long is it?
I probably will try to keep it close to 45 minutes, maybe an hour. But yeah, I ran a little late today. Just I got so excited about stuff, I wanted to keep going.
That's great. It's a workout.
It was good. I know I'm sweating. So yeah.
Have a good day.
Yes, you too. See you. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Thanks, Sarah.
I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. I'm going to end the meeting. Bye, Hannah. Take care of yourself. Bye, my friends on Facebook as well. I'll see you next time, hopefully on Monday, or maybe today at 2. If you're going to be around and you want an extra class, that's an option. Oh, good. Joan, love the side planks with the extended leg and lifting the heels and toes. Yes, that's a fun one. Thanks, Tish. Thanks, Susan. Hey, Lisa. Joan. Bye, everybody. I'll see you next time. Namaste.